Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. We have a couple of minutes before the meditation goes live, and the best thing always to do while you wait and join us before we go live is just pay attention to your breath. Bring your mind to your breathing. Feel the air come in through your nose. Feel in your belly how that balloon in your belly expands as you breathe in. Slowly breathe out. And in just a few minutes, you'll be ready to float away with us. Our teacher this week is Mooji. Love Mooji's work. Kind of makes me think that maybe we'll stick with Mooji's work for next week. There's so much good stuff there, but we'll see. Somebody, very good morning to you. Awesome seeing you there. Melanie, hello, good morning. Very good having you today. Right, here we go. Mooji does a beautiful job explaining what I guess we can term the work. It's a common term. Is someone doing their work, or I'm busy doing my work. Hey Pat, good morning. It's very good to see you there. And Mooji does such a beautiful job of, like in a nutshell, almost explaining what the work is, what the work entails. Just listen to this. He says, once you are present in the energy field of self-discovery, it is like you are a piece of ice in warm water. The warm water is the self. The ice is the mind. The warm water is not fighting with the ice. The ice cannot resist the melting. It is a natural and fatal attraction. I'll try to frame it a little bit differently, slightly different words. Estelle, very good morning to you. We have these two sides. We have the very human side to us. We're born in a human body, and we'll have all of the human experience in this human body. And we have the other side too, which is a little bit more eternal. Shall we call it a soul? Hey Charlene, good morning. So we have this scared human, this part of us that could easily be very reactive, reacting in fear to so many things. Maggie, a very good morning to you. And Joanne, good morning. Thanks for popping in. I hope you get to sit down and meditate with us. So we have a side of us that I guess we can call the scared human. And when this scared human is held in the warmth of our being, when we're able to look at the scared human, the scared parts of us, and hold those scared reactive parts in the warmth, the acceptance, and the warmth of our being, then this description is 100% true. And I've seen it happen so many times that I know it's true. Let me read it to you again. Once you are present in the energy field of self-discovery, it is like you are a piece of ice in warm water. The warm water is the self. The ice is the mind. The warm water is not fighting with the ice, but the ice cannot help but melt. Isn't it beautifully said? I promise you it works this way. The better you get at reaching for the being that you are, and from that space of the warmth of this being, hold all the other parts of you, all the scared parts of you. They can't help but melt in the warmth of the being that you are. And then the next one, he kind of explains in beautifully descriptive words again what the effect of this could be. He says, be true to love. Do not betray her. Then one day, on the day that the forest of the mind bursts into flames. Have you had the experience? Have you had that experience that your mind and these things, this chatter in your mind feels like it's bursting into flames? Just listen to this description again. Then on the day that the forest of the mind bursts into flames, you will not run. You will remain silent and still, for this is when love bears fruit. our sweetest fruit, your untouched presence. It's such a beautiful description of what we can learn to be, because it is what we are. When the scared parts of us have a complete freak out, when our triggers, when our reactive parts have a complete freak out, when the forest of the mind bursts out into flames, you will not run, because you've realized what you really are. You've been the being that holds these parts like ice cubes until they melt. You will remain silent and still, for this is when love bears her sweetest fruit, your untouched presence. It is so damn beautifully described, and again, I know how true this is because I've seen it happen again and again and again. The place you are looking for is the place from which you are looking. Does that make sense? The place that you are looking for, it is the place from which you are looking. This one says the same thing but from a different angle. It is not about mind watching. It is not about watching your mind, but rather recognizing that which watches the mind. And often in today's meditation, which is called a sense of self, I like to bring the meditation to the end to, while you've been able to look at all these parts, while you've been able to hold all of these parts, who are you being? While you are watching your mind, what is it that's watching? We can become so much better at being that, because it is the being that we are. If you're ready, we're doing a sense of self today. Let's float away into today's journey. And I have to just say again how these words from Mooji blow me away. It is so beautifully said. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and let's float away. Starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. A deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, Stretch out your spine. Lift the top of your head toward the ceiling and grow just a little bit taller. Once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. As you breathe out, soften. Soften your spine, slump down your shoulders and drop your head. The essence of our journey today is the recognition that we have these, what seems to be opposing parts of us, this duality. We are in a human body. This human body is designed for survival. Because of that design, it is prone to act in a way that sees nothing but the need to survive. We sometimes have the experience of being very reactive. Something is acting in fear. But we also have the other part. We are a soul, a being, eternal, but for the moment in this body. This eternal part has no need to survive. It is creation itself. Creating is its natural state. Can you hold both? And one step closer, can you hold both without a preference for either? Can you recognize and acknowledge the scared human without pushing that part away? Can you recognize and acknowledge your soul? Without desperately wanting to only be this way. One day you will be. Right now you're both. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together. Helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward. Roll out your neck muscles. Big half circles to the left and also to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. And one more big breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Stretch, move, or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having stepped into presence as much as we can, we can turn inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of today's journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a long and slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release. Make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. And as you release, feel into your body. Feel the muscles of your body. And feel them soften. Take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow. Your shoulders are slowly falling. Your body is slowly softening. And you are slowly falling deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your body dissolving. Feel yourself slip into a deeper and deeper surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow. Feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Your breath hold is an opportunity for you to hold you inside of you. Spend a few moments with your own wholeness. Hold your breath only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a long, slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, listen to this again. You're wrapping your arms around you and spending time with your own wholeness. Take your next big breath. Our journey today starts with finding an example of both. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to look at ourselves behind the wheel of our car in traffic. It's where we can often most clearly see both. First, we'll find an example of our small self. With your next big breath as you dive deep into you, remind yourself of an example of the reactive you, the reactive part of you, driving. Your small self behind the wheel. Take your next big breath. Are you able to find an example of yourself reacting while driving to something that happens around you? Maybe it's a bad driver that cut in front of you and forced his way into space that didn't really exist, but now he's there. your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want you to take a step back and get as clear a view of this reactive you as you can. How would you describe the body language of this reactive you while driving? Take your next big breath. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, how would you describe the thoughts, the words of this reactive you? What are the thoughts you're having in this reactive state? What are the words you're using in this reactive state? Take your next big breath. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, remind yourself that the opposite is also true. You have moments in the exact same circumstances where somehow you're calm, or that bad driver that wants the space in front of you, or your wisdom says, it's better let him have it and get out of my way. I'd rather let him go, get ahead, than have to deal with him constantly trying to pass, trying to take the space. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, see if you can get a good look at the calm you behind the wheel, your higher self behind the wheel. Take your next big breath. with your next big breath as you dive deep into you, how would you describe the body language of this calm you? How would you describe the thoughts and the words of this calm you? Take your next big breath. Can you hold both? Small self and higher self, reactive self and calm self. And more importantly, can you hold both without a preference? Take your next big breath. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, invite softness into your body. Invite softness into every cell of your body. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, you can feel yourself slip all the way through. No more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back, or lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. It is natural for us when we are confronted with, quote unquote, the worst parts of us. The reactive parts, the scared parts, the overreacting parts, the hectic mind chatter. It is natural for us to want that to change, to want that to be better. Here is what will not make it better. I'll repeat it again. All of the things about us that we don't like, the things we want to change. Here is what will not make it better. Is when we try and reject that part of us. Is when we try and push away any part of us, abandon it, leave it behind. When you approach the part of you that's already scared, that is already acting, reacting in fear, and you make that part of you understand that you are rejecting it. Are you creating more fear or less fear? So for the moment, I'd like you to look at that reactive part again, the one behind the wheel, the one with the road rage. And if you can, don't force yourself, don't push it, but if you can, bring her a bit closer, or move a bit closer to her. Maybe you could even let this part sit on your lap while you hold her. But do what works for you, don't push this. And while you look at the scared part with slightly new eyes, I want to read to you again how Mooji describes what happens. What happens when we can look at our scared parts and hold them. He says, once you are present in the energy field of self-discovery, it is like you're a piece of ice in warm water. The warm water is the self. The ice is the mind. The warm water is not fighting with the ice. I want to read that again. The warm water is not fighting with the ice. It is not saying you're bad. It is not rejecting. It is not pushing it away. It's just holding. The warm water is not fighting with the ice, and the ice cannot resist the melting. It is all you need to do is find the scared parts and hold them. They'll melt. But to me, the real question is, who are you being while you hold the scared parts? And the more you do this, the better you get at not fighting with yourself, but holding the scared parts. The better you get at being this, more you practice, the better you become at this, at being this part of you, the wiser part of you. And then it becomes obvious that we don't need to get the scared parts to stop doing what they're doing in order for us to change our behavior. We simply need to practice being our soul. And then all our actions will come from our wisdom. Behavior changed. When a part of you is acting in fear, the very next thing you do will make the fear either more or less. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this journey of self-discovery. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning and seeing again and again that we don't need anything from outside of us. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning and seeing again and again that inside of us we have all that we need. Our wisdom is complete. It's true for each of us. Our wisdom is complete. Take a deep breath in. But thank you for learning how we get closer to that wisdom. Not by having this inner war and trying to push away the parts of us that scare us. It is the fear and it's the loudness of our fear that separates us from the wisdom. When we heal the wounded parts, the volume becomes lower. And we become better at hearing the whisper of our wisdom. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. On the topic of wisdom, wisdom is not the same as knowing everything. I often hear wisdom say these words. I love every time I hear wisdom say these 3 words. I don't know. Very often that is wisdom speaking. When the truth is, I don't know. Thank you, Estelle. Thank you, Sunmari, Charlene, Leshna. And today I can see more people on my screen. Melanie, there we go. I see Melanie as well. Have a beautiful day, everyone. I'll see you here again soon. Don't push away any part of you. Every part of you, and especially the scared parts. They just really need your love. And in the presence of your warm love, they'll melt. It always happens. Love you lots. Ciao, ciao.